Good weekend, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are on Sunday, and this is the 23rd of March, 2025. This is your weekly edition. So I wait for the markets to open in the futures, then we look at the weekly charts to get a feel for what's coming up. Let's first take a look at the news. In the morning, you're going to get the Chicago Federal Reserve National Activity Index at 7:30 and the March flash manufacturing and service sector PMIs at 7:45. But as you know, all the attention is going to really be focusing on the tariffs that are coming next week. What kind of tariffs? Will we find out more information during the week? Is it good news? Is it bad news? Where's it going to come? You're getting a little bit of a lift in the stock indices tonight. You know, we're through with triple witching. That took place on Friday, and now the market just focusing back on what is going on. We did have a late day rally in the last hour and a half at the end of the day on Friday, and that lifted all the indices well off their lows. On the energy markets, you're just sort of drifting right here. I want to remind you, my gasoline report is out on our website at iraepstein.com. Just go there. If you're a paid subscriber, you go to the member login area. Otherwise, just go to iraepstein.com. And when you go there, just look in the top left, you will see the report. It goes off on Tuesday, so you won't see the report after Tuesday. Be sure that you take a look at it. If we drop down in prices, I think an entry point's in front of you. When we look at the bonds and notes, very stable right here. In the currency market, the question is, are they going to go up, down, sideways? What's going on? That becomes the biggest part as I see it in the marketplace there. So let's take a look, if we could, at some chart action and get a feel for what's going on. If you continue down in the stock market on a monthly basis, you'd be looking at the 5406 level for support. That's still 300 points from where the market is. Doesn't mean you can't turn up before, but you are down 3.69% right now. When we take a look at what the market is doing at this point, we're starting off the week with a 2% gain. So this is Monday's action. So you're up nicely to start the week. When we look at the action up here, as you can see, you broke down. This is called a vertical price drop. It's when a market makes a new high, especially like this, and the bottom falls out of it all of a sudden. So unless you had a stop in, very difficult for traders as they got themselves caught. And now you're getting what we call a bounce in the market. I look for big resistance if you got back to 59.50, but that's 200 points from here. I don't know what would put that up other than something positive that the president says about tariffs. When we look at why the market is bouncing, my argument would be you've spent 2 weeks under the Bollinger Band. You're getting back within it. That's not a trend change. You still have the, if you will, because you're under the 18-week average of closes, the bias to the downside, and you had gotten oversold and you're getting a little bit of a bounce. When I come to the Dow, the picture's different. It's clearly bearish. Lower highs, lower lows. You came to the Bollinger Band. You held it as you often do, and you're getting a bounce in the market. Look for resistance in the 43,458 level. I'd like to see the market get away from being oversold, but I am in the bear camp. When we look at the mini NASDAQ, you have a higher high, lower low. You're oversold in the market. When we look at the Russell, lower highs, lower lows. Now here you went into the 200-week average of closes, the 100-week in the green. So the gray was the 200, the green's the 100, and the Bollinger Band, and you held all three and you're getting a bounce. I don't view that as a turn in the market in any stretch at all. I think rallies still get sold, but hard ones is the way to come. In the DAX, we have a bullish embedded reading. So on the pullbacks, I look for the market to still be well supported. The pattern is one of higher lows and higher highs so far. I don't know what's going to stop that at this point. I can see the correction that happened by weekend, but I think that the trade is going to be a buyer on that break. In the Board of Trade 10-year note, you've got higher lows and you're trying to make lower highs. Not quite there. You are overbought. Buying an overbought condition, I tell my traders at least stay away from that. Let's just see. By the way, was this the, I have the 10-year note up there twice. My mistake. I'll put up the other one. I had just swung over for some of the months. We have lower highs, lower lows, and as you could see, you've got a market that's under the 100-week average in the dollar index. Look for resistance, strong resistance, I think, at 104.18. The big question still for the dollar, you're oversold. Is it going to try to embed or just hold on right here? When we look at the euro, we have higher lows and a higher high, and you're in big time resistance of the 200-week average, the 100 and the Bollinger Band. I would assume the market wants to stall here a bit. That's what I'm going to be looking for. In the Canadian dollar, Mark Carney just called for another election. I think it's April 28th. So that's going to be when he either is in power or out of power. We're going to find out all the things that happen. But the market tonight not responding very much to it. The market off this big break, all it did is rally back to the 18-week average. And in the process, it's already in overbought condition. In the Japanese yen, the 100-day average in green and the Bollinger Band have stopped the rally. But as you know, we're looking for the Bank of Japan to continue to raise interest rates, especially as we get towards April now when we find out what the blanket of unions want and what they get in their pay increases. Once that's behind the market, I think it's all systems go for the bank. In Bitcoin, you could see how the market has fallen down. It found support at the Bollinger Band, and it's been doing that for about a month. The question is, can it lift itself out of here? It's most certainly oversold. I don't see the traders pouring new money into the short side down here. If anything, I see some short covering. Then we look at the differential between Brent and WTI oil, and it's just hanging here at this 18-week average of closes, a little bit over, a little bit under, really not telling a story. The overall picture in the Brent itself is lower highs, lower lows. 3 weeks ago, it got down to the Bollinger Band, and if you didn't cover your short there, you left some money on the table. But now the resistance is up here at 74.46. You're still in an oversold condition, however. Oversold in the NYMEX. You can still see the resistance up here. Here, too, you made your run at the lower band, and you've lifted up. I don't see anything friendly on these charts at this point in time. And keep in the back of your mind, there's a lot of pressure within OPEC as to what are they going to do. 7 countries have said they're now going to voluntarily cut back on production to make up for overproducing. At the same time, come April, there's supposed to be another 100,000 barrels a day coming. I guess that would come from the other members as they cut back. But if everybody starts making up that 400,000 barrels of overproduction at one time over a period of time here, what does that do? That becomes an interesting point for the market. In gasoline, I'm still looking on breaks for the market to find very good support. I'm going to repeat, you're getting into the summer months, spring and summer. The market doesn't wait for the summertime driving. The market often goes up before the summertime driving during the changeover periods in the refineries. I explained this all in my report. If you go to that report, let's see if I can bring this up for you. I can't, unfortunately. It's at that funny time right now where they do certain things on the charts. But to make a long story short, just go to iraepstein.com. And when you're there, look in the top left and you will be able to see the report. Give it a click and enjoy it. Again, it goes off the board Tuesday. You take care now.